Nothing Left to Lose album, Learn to Fly by the Foo Fighters. They earned a Grammy Award for that video. It is hilarious. I recommend you dial it up. It had a cameo feature of Jack Black and Kyle Gass of Tenacious D's and the Nacho Libre and Elf movies. You'll know them. Anyway, welcome to Toolbox Tuesday. Again, this is our first for January. Today, we're going to be releasing the new preview of the Genie app. But before we go into that, I wanted just to mention we've got Coffee with Closers next Tuesday on the 20th at 1 p.m. Eastern. And this is a Genie January. So January 27th at 1 p.m., we will also have a Toolbox Tuesday featuring, you got it, Biller Genie. So it is a Genie January. And without further ado, let's introduce you to Genie, but I'm also going to introduce you to Tim Toombs, who wants to say a couple things before we head into this. Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, I appreciate it, John. So, real quick, I think we had a little bit of technical difficulties. I see that the participants are still clicking and adding. We had a Google link and a Zoom link. So, we're getting up to 67. I'm going to go ahead and go because this is being recorded. You guys, if you join late, come back and watch this. So, look, this is a big day for us. It's exciting. It's a lot of work's been put into this behind the scenes. Justin alluded to it earlier on the daily bearing. You know, John's been working diligently in the background along with other developers and Dave Knoll's team. This is a big day for us. So, you know, when we talk about agent first and giving them the tools that they need to go out and truly be the best they can be on a daily basis, this right here is going to set us apart in a big way. I can't wait for you guys to see this and see what John's got put together for you. But some of the feedback that I've got, because I kind of, you know, cheated. I had this on my phone for a little bit longer than most people, was able to show it to some people at the anniversary party Saturday, the night before at dinner with some of the people that were on the recording podcast. And the feedback to this point is perfect. One of the things I want to ask for is a little bit of grace. And what I mean by that is, just like with any new product, there's going to be bugs. There's going to be things that are out there. John's going to get to a part in this where he's going to show you a little feedback tool inside of the app, inside of the URL. It is huge that you do that, right? This is built by salespeople for salespeople, and you guys are going to take us a direction of what we're going to go, what the iterations are, the direction we're going to go with this, you know, kind of like the Field of Dreams. You know, if you build it, they will come. Well, if we listen to what you guys tell us, we'll build what you want. With that being said, a couple, 7 years ago at a previous company, I went to one of our developers and said, man, you know what would be great is if we had an app that had everything on it, that people could just leave with the business card, some keys, and, you know, their phone and or a tablet. And we could just never get this thing off the ground. There was always something happening, you know, and we just couldn't make it happen. And all of a sudden, John decides to order a pizza one Friday night and build this app. And then by 5 o'clock Saturday morning, it was done. So, again, super excited about this. Cannot wait to hear what the feedback is. I know you guys are going to have some questions as we go through it. Let John kind of systematically get through. We're going to save some time at the end to let it be interactive. Throw some questions out there. John will, you know, there'll be spots. He'll say, hey, ask your questions. We'll go through the chat. But this is a big deal. And the first version of this, we're going to roll this out. John's going to talk about how you can do that. But just stay plugged in. Super excited. John, back to you, man. Let's go. Let's do it.
All right, let's go. So couple things that are kind of fun just to recap what we intend to have this first release do, right? It's to put a little magic in your day, not having to make wishes for that to come true, but making it happen yourself, right? So what can the Genie app do for you? We'll talk today about never missing a company event or announcement. Be able to search Justin's daily bearings and industry news. Maybe what Justin publishes on a day-to-day basis doesn't apply to today, but you think, wow, I wish I could research that. That's buried in my inbox, right? We can do that now. And we're going to say goodbye to the traditional price list and say hello to product guides. That's an exciting new development. We have product solution builder tools and selection matrices that are coming, and one that's already available. Smart contact and prospect management. We've heard from you about, CRMs and that type of thing. And then a big frequently asked questions and knowledge base to help you answer those questions that come up regularly that you don't need to necessarily call or email sales at anymore, right? Maybe you can just look up and get that answer right here. So that's what this is all about. What I'd like to start with is give you a quick overview of the user interface. So this this is Genie, right? At a glance. Um, this is not an app that's available on the iOS or Android app stores. This is a web app, which means it's at home on any device, right? So if you prefer to use a smartphone, a tablet, or a laptop, or D, all of the above, it's just as happy on any of those. Again, therefore, it's device and operating system agnostic. So what you see on the left is what it looks like on a tablet or a laptop, and on the right is the phone version. And you can see on the left with the tablet, you've got the nav column on the left that shows all the time. In the app, you need to hit the hamburger menu icon to display that navigation, right? So if we jump in a little bit further, here's again the tablet laptop view. Up top, we've got our home button. We've got, and I'm going to call this PRM for prospect relationship management, right? Because once they're a merchant, they're going to be moving into Navigo. So this doesn't replace Navigo. This comes into effect to help you navigate that prospect and get to that yes. So the PRM functions are up top here. All those menu choices I mentioned to you before, and you also have an agent profile here at the bottom left, which I'll go over the use and significance of that in just a moment. If we look at the mobile phone version of that, again, we've got the menu hamburger icon here that shows those different choices. Again, you can hit the hamburger menu again to make that go away, or the little X. But notice at the bottom here, the prospect relation management shortcuts remain on the main screen of the phone because these are your go-to everyday functions in addition to these menu choices, which are really more pay compass resources. And again, your agent profile is right there. What you'll notice on a daily basis is you will get a welcome message, and it will show you tiles of your different quantities and activities of the previous day, and you'll just click on a Let's Go button to continue. And then finally, let's go. So tying back into the Foo Fighters, right? Let's see how Genie will help you fly through each of your day, right? Make you more effective, more efficient, and so forth. Who's here? Who here is ready to get started?
I am.
I will take that as a yes. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes, we
So
are.
awesome. Awesome. So this is your home screen. This is the Genie app home screen. And we talked about this a few moments ago, but we have upcoming company news and calendar events, right? Here is our Toolbox Tuesday we are in today. For this or any other previous company events, you can click the View All to see all of the past Coffees with Closers, Toolbox Tuesdays, etc. These Toolbox Tuesdays also, if you drill in further, they have the links for the recordings. So after the Toolbox Tuesday has happened, you can always go back and view it. So maybe you want to refresh on Deja Vu or LQ Pay or whatever. It's all in here in the past. So again, it makes all of this information now usable at any point. Similarly, let's talk about Biller Genie later this month. If I click on that, there is a button here that I can add it to my app calendar. So you can add company events to your daily calendar, which we'll go over in a few minutes. We have industry news. I love to post what Clover changes happened. Justin mentioned Cloud Auto. So all of these things that are important for you to know will live in here. And then again, you'll see all the daily, well, today's daily bearing on a daily basis. And you can actually view all of those going back in time. But more importantly is you can search the content of those for a keyword. So super excited about this. And again, the solution is that all of these things don't get lost in your inbox. They become searchable, usable information for you. Any questions so far? In that case, I'm going to switch to the tablet view just to kind of give you, again, a perspective on how it changes. Not a whole lot different, but again, here's the different navigation bars. I'm going to stick to this going forward to show you the apps, just so I can sort of point out these different nav bars. Before I do, I just want to remind you this hamburger menu is what slides out those same choices. But for the rest of this, I'm going to really stick to the tablet view just to give you a better view. So having said all that, I'm going to start in here with the hardware and software guides because these are my favorite. These are the price lists reincarnated. So if I click into the hardware guide, all of a sudden you're going to see all those same familiar terminals that you saw listed in text with their 4 pricing options listed here. You can see there's a search button, so I could just type VAL and all of the Valor terminals are going to show up. I can filter these by the types. Maybe I want to see just pin pads. Maybe I want to see just swipe simpler terminals, or maybe I just want to see, the deja vu terminals. I can do that and again, find what I need when I need it. Now remember, these filters remain even if you leave the section, so you do have to clear those if you want to see the entire list again. Having said that, you can then tap on a particular item that's of interest, like the P1 here. I can see an enlarged image. I can see 2 tabs, my pricing tab. I can see there's a gateway required. I can see a description of this product, but in the guide section, I can actually see all of the features that this terminal has, right? It doesn't have cellular, it's not a mobile device, but more importantly is I can see a link to any videos or deja vu websites or whatever. This is specific to this particular terminal. And like what we know and love about deja vu is they have this that I can actually show my customer a rendering of the terminal that I'm presenting to them, right? So this is really an audio visual tool, not just a price list anymore. And again, down here, you can see there's a little link for the device user manual. So there's lots of resources here in these product guides, far and above just a price list. Now, Tim, I know you're a big fan of this, so I wanted to point out this terminal matrix. This is cool. We're going to release more of these going forward. But here there's a selection of different features, maybe the most common that we get asked for. And let's just play a game, right? Let me say I need a cellular device. Maybe I want physical buttons. Definitely needs to be mobile, and I want a built-in printer. So if I click done, there are the 4 terminals that meet those feature requirements, right? So it helps you narrow our vast list of terminals down to the specific requirements of your prospects. And again, you can drill into any of these and see the pictures and the terminals and the videos and all that sort of thing. Again, notice the matrix has turned yellow. That means the filter is set on. So for you to go back and see all of the devices again, you need to clear these filter settings and you're back to the full list, right? So again, searchable by name, filter by type and manufacturer, terminal matrix filters by feature. So let's switch
Hey,
gears.
real quick, John, I want to
Yeah,
jump in, not to throw us off, but we are recording this and this will be sent out on the same links as we always do. So if you've got AI recording or note taking, we're at capacity. We've never had this problem before. We are at capacity. People are trying to get in, can't. So if you could turn your note taker off, it would be a huge help and let a few more people in. So I just wanted to pass that out real quick. Go ahead, John.
cool. And Albert, I see your hand, but let me continue for just a moment and we'll get to you. I'm going to go to the software guide now. Very similar, right? Searchable, filterable. But again, in this case, they're really grouped by function, right? So these are the different software providers for gateways. Go a little bit further down, I've got POS software, we've got other software and so forth. Software is a little bit trickier though. Let's say like I want to know what providers have some sort of QuickBooks integration. Well, I can just type QuickBooks in the search, and even though it's not mentioned in the name, I can see the different products that have QuickBooks integrations to some degree. So I still need to do some research, but it gives you the path to that. So, for example, Valor, we know that they have a free QuickBooks two-way integration, right? So it helps you find that solution you want. And again, you can see there's little numbers in front of each of these. Uh, MX has 4, and that just means that there are 4 add-ons to their gateway up here, right? So you can add on these different functions and features. So that goes through that whole list. I'm going to clear my QuickBooks filter for a moment and pick on one of my favorites, Clover POS, right? We can drill in here. And again, remember, this is the software side of things. So we have the different SaaS plans. And when there is more information, this button will appear and you will see then, what are the features of this SaaS plan. And when there's a video available, that will also be linked here. So again, that same multimedia kind of experience, both on the software side as the hardware side. I do want to point out, here's our certified referral partners for POS, right? The different order counters, Corona, Union, etc. Again, more info links here. And then for those of you who are Clover fans, I do have, the recommended third-party apps listed over here. Albert, why don't we take that question from you before we continue on?
Hey, good afternoon, guys. So yeah, I just put the question on the chat box. So remember, you was filtering terminals like let's say PAX, Valor, and stuff like that.
Yep.
Will that filter option have the capability of what program each terminal is capable of doing? Like for example, I know some terminals can handle only let's say dual pricing. Certain terminals can handle surcharge program.
Yep. So let me show you that. So I'm going to click on the A80 just because it's handy here. And if you go into the guide section of the tab, not the pricing, here's where you can view all of the A80 features, right? So here's where, you can see, is it surcharge compatible, cash discount,
Gotcha.
fleet, right? So this is the full list of features, even though the terminal selection matrix only has 8 of these. And the reason I did that, in fact, let me go over there for a second up to the matrix again. If you go in here, you can see I have some notes down here at the bottom, right? So Wi-Fi is available for all terminals. So it really wasn't worth putting a slider in there to filter it because at this point, all of them have Wi-Fi. So for those sort of standard features, check the notes at the bottom here. And as you see here, dual pricing is available in all terminals except for the FD150.
Gotcha.
So I tried to help you kind of bridge the
Yeah.
gap, with those
Awesome.
selections.
I think I missed that part when the guide part, but it's all right. Thank you, man. I appreciate you.
No, no, it's that, and that's the thing. But again, as Tim said, we want to hear from you, right? So any of these suggestions, augmentations,
Oh,
corrections,
you
all
definitely
that.
gonna hear from me.
All
Definitely.
right, it's a deal. It's a deal. So I'm gonna go and clear the matrix, and then we're gonna move on. Frequently asked questions, right? So this is neat. These are really the things that you might reach out to, to sales for example. But again, I'm actually embedding, how do I use the Genie app hardware guide? How do I use the software guide? So I actually have links in here that you can open and they will open up these other guides that walk you through how to use and, and exist inside that. So it's a sort of a self-training on the app itself. The cool thing is for any of these up here, you can see this little slider to mark it as a favorite. You can each do this yourself and you can put any of these FAQs that are important to you up here at the top so they're easily found, right? Similarly, I've got the two, phone numbers and emails up here for support and sales. The knowledge base is very similar. This is more like setup type oriented, right? So I've got a lot of Clover questions in here. And by the way, they're searchable and filterable. But the thing I also want to point out is I've got some sales material in here under POS. How can Clover win against Toast? How can Order Counter win against Toast? Right? So again, we can drill into all of these. You can open these, study these at your own pace. There's videos. I've got screenshots of what Order Counter looks like, and heaven forbid, right, what Toast looks like. So lots in here. This can continue to be built out with your help and can be really that go-to knowledge base for all of those things that come up regularly, but you just want at your fingertips. Here it is. This is what Tim mentioned, a suggestion box, right? I need to get rid of these test things. Actually, I will get rid of these test things. You can submit new suggestions with the add button. All I ask is that you give us a title and choose which category in the app your suggestion pertains to so we know where we need to apply that. And then type out your suggestion and try to be clear of what we need to do, right? So I ask you, don't email sales for this. Don't email me for this. Please submit it through the suggestion box here in the app. Our sales team does get a ticket opened when you do that suggestion so we can follow through. But having it come through this suggestion box will really help us manage that process and make sure that we can prioritize and see which ones we can get to and which ones have to go, to a next phase.
Hey, real quick, John, I think Mary, if you want to come off mute, Mary, you had something you wanted to add?
Yeah, so like integration, let's say we got one of them like QuickBooks, and we have the hardware that integrates with it. Is it somewhere in there in QuickBooks that does offer the cash discount or the non-cash adjustment? That's one question.
I'm going to take that offline with you because it's so specific. I need to get a better understanding of the question. So to Tim's point, to your point, right? We've sort of framed out this app with a starting point, but this is your app, right? We want you to suggest and help us make it your own to address all of those questions. So we've taken our best stab at throwing some samples in there, but really this is the launching pad and the foundation upon which we build the house.
Okay, so so if we have like software, I saw where a lot of the software that is available, like Corona or those software packages, and there's been several times I've called in, and even though it's not on our hardware software list, that we can board their software. So like NCR Aloha is a big one that we do integrate with, may be a few others. If it's not on there, where are those options to let us know that, yes, we can, integrate with certain APIs or gateways and things like that? Is this?
Yes. So we don't have that integrations list in here. We certainly can. My initial answer to you is it would probably go into the knowledge base and you would just search for Aloha. Now it's not going to pop up, but right. And then it would actually find those integration answers for you.
Okay.
So, but you're right. The full integration list has not been imported. So that's a good one to make note of. So we're also going to point out what's new. So here we are. Well, this was actually posted yesterday, but instead of you guys trying to feel your way through the app, discovering what new features we may add, we will post them here in what's new so you can know what to go explore instead of having to start from ground zero. We do have a quick about section in the app. And then again, we have a user profile at the bottom. So if we go into the user profile, I talked to you about this before. Again, same contact numbers are in here. Your RSD and phone and email will be listed here as well as their state and time zone. So you can know when to appropriately call them. And throughout the app, you'll notice we have quick email and quick dial buttons. So this will actually, on your phone, it will either open an email or place the call without dialing the numbers at all. So there's quick, fast conveniences. And you'll see this in the prospect management side of things too. And then I'm going to come back to this in a minute, but we pre-set up some preferences for pricing defaults for you. And I'm just going to show this briefly. It's kind of what each of your go-to pricing defaults might be, whether you're pricing cash discounting, surcharge, interchange plus, etc. I'm going to let you see that you can edit your own pricing defaults here from these that we've preset for you. Many of you might find these are suitable and you don't need to change them at all, but I'm going to come back to this in a few moments and show you where we use that. Before I do, I want to take a quick break because we're sort of done with the information delivery side of this app and ask if there's any questions.
Hey, John, this is Carol. I have
Hey,
one.
Carol.
So I have enjoyed playing with this. I can't believe how much it's grown in the last couple of months. But other than this being brilliant, I just kind of wanted to remind everybody that if I wanted to know specifically about cash discounting or versus dual processing versus surcharging, et cetera, if I go in there and type it at the top under knowledge base, there are 7 pages under definitions. So if I really want to know, all I have to do is go in there and search it. So it's going to pull up, when I do that, it's going to pull up, if I put in cash discounting or something, I think it's only pulling up right now the one that's in Clover. But we'll build that out y'all will build that out as we go. But I just needed to know, because I haven't tested it. If I do a search, and I'm in the knowledge base tab, will it also look under frequently asked questions? Because there's like several pages and they're not in alphabetical order. That's why search is going to be such an important thing.
Yes, so they're not FAQ. So FAQ is really more like procedural type questions and answers, where knowledge base is more like product or software or how do I, right? So there's a little bit of nuance, but to your point, you're right. There is no searching overlap. In this case, cash discount didn't pick up anything in FAQ. But again, if I go into that in knowledge base, now you know me, I'm that Clover guy, right? So I had to get the apps that are preferred for cash discounting, but I also have some other definitions here, right? So registers, ACH, etc. So this comes back full circle again. Help us build out the knowledge base in the FAQ to suit your needs, right? So this is our big ask.
So I'll do a suggestion, and a suggestion like saying, can we cross tabs if I put in a term that I want more information on it? Maybe it could go to the FAQs and the knowledge base, right?
Yep. Please do that.
Got it. Cool.
Okay. All righty then. So now, without further ado, I'm gonna go up into the prospect relation management side of things, and I'm going to sort of start at the bottom here in contacts. Now, again, there's not many here because this is day one. The thing I wanted to mention to you is the contacts that are shown are yours. They're exclusively yours. All of your contacts and your prospects, you are the row owner of that data. So no one else can see them. So even though I only have 3 of these, if Dave or Darren or whatever looked at theirs, they're not going to see mine and I'm not going to see theirs, right? So this is secure, it's private. If I do drill into any of these, again, I can see like a Rolodex, like their different contact information. And if they're associated with any of my prospects, I will see who their affiliation with is and what their position is with that prospect. I can also upload a photo if they want to be, in the spotlight. So those are contacts. So I mentioned that because contacts are assigned to prospects as employees. So let's go to prospects and take a look at how that works. So a couple options here, right? You can choose to add logos of your prospects. Like we saw with hardware and software, you can search by prospect name. You can filter, by their current status, by their interest level, etc. So maybe it's the end of the month, you want to close some deals. You could filter on the very interested prospects, to try to get in front of them. You can go down at the bottom, and if you're working in certain areas, you can actually map them out. I meant to put a filter in for city and state because some of you live adjacent to different states, including me, right? New Jersey is right adjacent to Pennsylvania, and maybe I want to prospect in Pennsylvania today, but New Jersey tomorrow. So you can actually use all of this and click on these and actually see, what those prospects are, and where they're located. And once you pick one, I'm going to go into Southeast, for example. Again, I see those prospect, their status, right? Again, a lead is before you maybe have met them or introduced yourself. Active one, even lost, maybe you want to circle back to some of your lost prospects, because you heard something has changed with global doing some egregious, thing or whatever. The other neat thing about this allows you to keep all of your contacts with these organized. So I can add an appointment with a single touch of a button. I can add a follow-up to an appointment with a single touch. A task, I could, edit the details of this particular prospect. I can show notes, like in this case, legacy POS, still mag swiping, right? I know what to talk to them about. Again, as I add those appointments and those to-do lists, they show up on their, upcoming events list. Here's where we can see our contacts have been assigned as employees. In this case, Jace is the manager and Austin is the bookkeeper. You can see I can SMS and text them from here. I can drill into them and say, are they using their personal email or their business email as far as their contacts? Here I can do one-touch call, one-touch SMS, one-touch email if I have an email for them. So again, super easy to keep in contact and notes on your prospects. But here's what I'm really most excited about, right? We've talked a lot about ISOQuote, and there's a lot there, right? And I'm not saying that this is going to displace ISOQuote, but ISOQuote, there's a learning curve, and sometimes there's more information than you need. So what Darren did for us in building this out, which I think is really exciting, is you can optionally add some prospect volume figures, right? Monthly card volume, how many transactions, maybe what they're paying today. So you don't actually need to see a statement. If they're unwilling to give you a statement, if you know their monthly volume and what they're paying, I can tap this quick quote. And you can see I have all three pricing methods enabled. I can see that you're going to save 82% under the cash discount model, 73% under surcharge, and 24% on IC Plus. Now, here's the other secret sauce. If you guys haven't dealt with merchants that have tips, remember tips dilutes the savings for cash discounting. This calculates that for you. So again, I haven't seen a statement, but I can say, you know what? I'm going to save you $1,600, $1,612 a month with a net cost of $337 versus the $2,000 you were paying, and you're going to save 83%. And I still know that you're taking 15% average tips. That's all factored in. So I think if you can find a prospect that's super interested and ready to go, you don't go back in a week after plugging it into ISOQuote. You sealed the deal right here. Which of these three plans would you like to move ahead with today? That's the exciting part about this. Now, what I also want to draw to your attention very quickly, remember we talked about your default pricing methods, right? I can tap my defaults and see those defaults. Well, I know many of you, recommend a cash discount of 4% to the customer. I know many of you, therefore, have a flat rate for cash discount of 3.85. And maybe you put a transaction fee of 5 cents in there just to, cover your Schedule A. Well, there's your defaults. You can edit these at any time but these remain constant throughout. So I'm going to put that away. But I want to show you this. For Southeast, I can override my defaults, and maybe I want to make the transaction fee 0 for cash discount. This will save specific to this one prospect, leaving your defaults alone for everybody else, right? So you can override those defaults anytime you wish, but just know that that's a time saver. And of course, now we go in here and you can see I've eliminated that 5 cents. So the cash discount has gone up about 4 or 5 percentage points. So I've given you a lot. Any questions now?
Looks like Brad has his hand raised.
No questions, but I definitely wanted to say this, how awesome this is. But also, I don't know if everybody saw that there's the percentage on credit and debit. And a lot of times we have to assume that if we don't get a statement.
Yep.
But
So
that's
thank you.
very nice.
Thank you. So yes, right here, for surcharge, this makes a big difference, right? So if I'm only applying a surcharge to credit, I need to know what their credit to debit ratio is to properly price out what their savings would be for surcharge. So again, you can key all these in. Now remember too, for cash discount, all you need is the monthly volume and their monthly cost. You don't need a lot of this other stuff, right? Transactions, if you're charging a 5 cent fee, yes. For MCCs, notice like I can pull up the average pass through. That's just for Interchange Plus. So as you go through, you'll get to know which of these you'll need to get the different quick quote numbers. But you can also just tap the add edit volume here. And maybe I'm going to just set, a little too quick on the mouse here. I'm going to set my tips back to 0 and submit that. And now if I go back to my quick quote, you'll notice, right, I actually have a net positive for cash discount because I'm not charging a transaction fee and tips are set at 0. It must be a retail star. So this is a really cool interactive pricing tool that's in the palm of your hand, right? And I'll just go back and remind you, right? This is what it looks like. And you can turn this around and show the customer and say, which of these should we start and move forward with today? And having said that, I think I have shown you everything inside the Genie app. And how about we open it up for questions?
I got another question on this one. Okay, so
Mary, before you go, what do you think?
where am I going with it?
What do
No,
you
what do you
think
think about the product? He's asking.
Oh, did you see me clapping a minute ago? You didn't hear me.
No,
but
I was concentrating. I was concentrating.
I was like, woohoo, yeah. No, loving it, loving it, loving it. And actually, my husband's in here doing this with me. So the numbers that you're showing on cash discount, surcharge, and all that, if it's
Yep.
traditional payment processing, obviously, you still want to keep in mind that you want to look at your numbers to make sure you're making some money on top of it. This is just for the customer to show the savings. You still have to go and do your quote, on Navigo, correct? This is only just for the customers on the surcharge or the flat rate pricing.
Correct. So we haven't put in, like your profitability yet, but essentially we just haven't built that out yet. Right. So, and as Tim mentioned before, or we talked about this before, this whole app is really meant to get you to the yes. And then we transition into Navigo to board them and, do the merchant apps and all those sort of things. So we're still sort of defining where this sits. But again, we really thought that having a savings tool in your hand without saying, I'll be back next Tuesday, could be a really powerful conversation to have with your merchants.
I think overall, especially to the new, I saw a couple of questions about to the new agents. I mean, this is something that as veterans would have helped us out from the very get-go, which obviously I'm glad we're here now. I mean, this is amazing because, we're veterans, we know how to move this. But yeah, for like the newcomers, this is going to make their lives so much easier. And maybe our attrition and losing them, keeping them will change those numbers too, because we're simplifying the job for them in a way that it's a game changer. So I am
Yeah, and
really loving this on both sides.
you're hitting the nail on the head too. It's we're hiring. We don't hire the newest of the new, but even bringing in someone that knows the business, navigating Pay Compass, right? What can we sell? How can we sell it? What does it look like? All the pricing. That learning curve, Mary, just got turned into a straightaway. I mean, you just come around turn 4 and you get to hammer the gas, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. So it's really exciting what this is going to turn into. And this is just the first version of this. So
Well, even as
But
a veteran, every single day the equipment changes. So to know exactly what it does and what might fit this best, I mean, this is just, even for veterans, this is just life changing. The hardware piece.
yeah,
well, and Carol, to your point, you never have to remember to go download a new price sheet because they're always live prices.
Right.
Now there's a danger there, right? Because the price today at the end of the month could be different at the beginning of next week, next month, but we don't know that till we see the price list anyway. So it's nothing really different. But
Right.
Mary, to your point, and I don't know if this is interesting to you or others, but we do have in the edit prospect volume, I do have an MCC lookup. So you can actually go in here and let's just say this is a bakery, right? I can look up bakeries and I can pull up, let me submit this and pull it over, and then I can see what their average pass through is by MCC. So if you're prospecting some new, maybe a retail store, and you don't know what the average, talking about profitability, are they under two? Are they over two? This can give you an insight into those typical pass throughs by MCC, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, that's I didn't see that one, but yeah, that helps out because if you know what their effective rate is, that kind of gives you an idea and you can kind of do the math from there.
Yep, yep. I see your hand up, Søren. Søren, I see your hand up.
Yeah, my question is when you do click on SMS or dial, does it use your phone to do that, or is it a specific number that it dials out of?
No, it does leverage your device, right? So as far as caller ID, your prospect will see your caller ID and your phone number.
Got
So
you. Okay.
this is all. So for example, if you're on a tablet, it might not function the same as your phone. If you're on a laptop, it definitely won't work because it doesn't have built-in, phone capabilities. But the email tap option will work.
Okay, got it. All right, thank you.
Yep. And Hind, anything else in the Q&A that we need to address that have been posted?
I know Brad had a few questions. I think he asked all of that. A lot of people are asking for the link. Are we getting
yeah,
out?
Oh,
yeah. Everybody's like, "How do we get it? What's going
all
on?"
right. Tim, do you want to start that conversation?
Let's go ahead and tell them how to go about it, and then I'll fill in on the backside of it. How do they get it?
Okay.
And a lot of people, here's the beauty of it. A lot of you have already asked, get it to me the right way. So it's interesting to see how many people have already signed up.
Well, so let me show you this. This is what's now sitting up under this link in Navigo. So this takes you to a Google form, and we're going to ask you to submit a couple pieces of information. First of all, this is important for a couple things, and I'm going to go through this. It asks for your email. And so, Mary, I'm going to pick on you, right? Because I know you have a Pay Compass email, but you also have the credit card lady and so forth. Whichever your preferred email is, that's what you need to log in and use. And that's what's going to lock your prospects and so forth down to you. So if you switch and try to log in with Pay Compass, but that wasn't your primary, it won't know it's you, right? So
yeah, so let's add to that, John. Whatever email address we have listed or you have listed to access Navigo, right? We're keeping this SS of the single sign-on type of thing. So whatever you're accessing, however you're updated, Navigo logging in, that's the email address you need to use. So if you have two, whichever one it is, make sure we're using the correct one.
And let me go one step further. If you're using your Google, like your Pay Compass G Suite, email, or an Outlook, you can log in with those credentials. If you're using a different email address like your own, it'll send you a PIN that you need to key in the 4-digit PIN to sort of do that two-factor authentication for you. So a little bit simpler for those of you, who are using the Google or an Outlook, that's already logged in. But again, still not a big lift.
So after this happens, this is what's going on here. So this is where I'll fill in a little bit. New product. We talked about this earlier. New rollout. We want to do this the right way. So we don't want to break it. We don't want to break the new toy, right? So we're going to limit. We want everyone to sign up. I hate to use the word limit. We're going to have everyone sign up that wants to have access, request the access. Looks like we're going to have a pretty high adoption rate of this, which is fantastic. We'll do tranches. So we'll put 25 or 30 people in starting tomorrow morning. Make sure everything is up and running good, getting good feedback. Let the rails handle the traffic, and then we'll do small tranches of 10 or 15 people after that, so on and so on. So if you're not in the first group, don't worry. You'll get it soon to come, very soon to come. So, and it's not a who's who get, who's going to get it, who doesn't. I will say this: if you was part of the beta, you're already in it. You're going to get it. You don't count towards the number we just talked about. So make sure you go in the proper way. Make sure you fill it out in Navigo. Say, hey, I want it. Bree and her team will be handling existing agents. Brad Withrow, you had asked, hey, how do we get this into the hands of the newest agents coming in? Beth will take care of that through the concierge team. All the new agents that are brought in will be given access to this, because it's like Mary said, it's going to shorten the learning curve for us in a big way. So be patient. This was the part of the grace I asked about at the beginning of the call. Be patient. Allow us a little bit of grace. We want this tool to be as powerful as we all think it can be. Let's just make sure we're going about it the right way. So we're going to get there. I promise you. We're going to get it out to everybody.
Tim, if we were in the beta, did you say
Yeah, we'll make sure that all the beta users are in there. Go ahead if you want to, Carol, and just resubmit, but we'll make sure all the beta users are in there for sure.
Okay.
And
you guys are the pros at this, so you have to,
So I do want to mention though, Carol and Mary, the app you had before was a development app, so you can delete that. The link is no longer linked to the current new production version.
That's what I was asking. Okay,
so you definitely want to go through the process. Again, for those of you who do submit, you will get a welcome email that'll also have instructions on how to add it, to your phone's homepage or your tablet's homepage. So that'll all be part of that welcome email. And then the other thing I do want to mention, if there seems to be a feature that we've announced that you don't see, right? The upgrades of features only happen when you close out of the app, right? So if anything is funny, swipe it up, kill the app's process, open it fresh from the icon, and that'll also then pull any new updates that should be there that might not be there. So at least once a week, if not sooner, just close out the app and restart it to pull down any fresh updates. And with that, we're within about 10 minutes of the end. Are there any other questions, comments, thoughts, celebrations?
Hey, John, I'll weigh in on this. This is Rob.
Hey, Rob.
Hey, I got to peek at it in Phoenix last week, and it blew my mind. I mean, there were features and things that they were showing me that I just was like, it can do that? Wait, it can do that? Wait, I didn't know that was integrated to that. And as a 13-year veteran here, it's hard to blow my mind. It was pretty awesome.
Well, that's cool. And again, I'd love to, as Tim said, pick everybody's brain for suggestions and where this goes from here, because we've done our best to anticipate that. And I'm psyched we blew your mind, but there's no place but up from here.
Right. So going back to
the suggestion box.
Yep. Just as I have up on the screen right now, just add your suggestions. You're not going to blow up the inbox. That's not the point. We are going to have to prioritize this. There probably will be some overlap with others. So we're going to try to consolidate, but we will try to get to these as we can. And at some point we'll have a regular release cycle that we'll announce to all of you. We don't know what that's going to be, but at this stage, I think we're really looking to fix any errors, spelling questions, pricing issues, missing equipment. Look for corrections at this point, and then we'll start iterating and adding features.
Yeah, so I think going back to the suggestion box, and we mentioned it earlier, this is your tool. So we don't know what version 1.2 looks like because you guys haven't told us what you need yet. Just fill that suggestion box up. Just because it's in there doesn't mean it's going to get added. But we're definitely going to listen to everyone in this process because it's important. The tool's only as valuable as the information that we take and we put into it. And the uses, hopefully we'll see go up and just continue to climb. So again, this is not to replace Navigo in any way. Navigo is another product, a very proud product of ours standing on its own. So two different things. One day down the road, do they somehow link to each other? Maybe. We'll have to see, right? So
and just to piggyback on that, Navigo is secure, right? Navigo has two-factor. It is secure. The app is also secure, right? Your prospects are yours, but all we ask is don't put any private information for contacts, for prospects, for owners, et cetera, that you wouldn't see in a phone book or on this, the side of the street or whatever. Anything that's private, that stays in Navigo, right? The socials, the federal IDs, all those things stick behind that secure curtain. So that's really the differentiation I want to make, is this is a tool for you to accelerate your closing cycle and your prospecting cycle. But once you get that yes, you transition all of that important information into Navigo. I see a couple other raised hands.
Hey guys, it's Andy here. Just wanted to chime in for the agents. RSDs, of course, are going to become extremely familiar with this to help teach not only yourself, but downline agents, new agents getting onboarded, etc. To Tim's point, just give us some grace. We're learning with you guys as these things become available. There's going to be features that get released that maybe came from a different team that we weren't aware of. So we're all going to grow through this together. We will be experts at some point. It sure as hell isn't going to be tomorrow, but we're going to learn together. So just wanted to emphasize that.
And again, shameless plug, right? I'm in FAQs under procedures. I have a number of Genie app how-to articles already in here. If there's additionals you don't see that you'd like, please mention those. But again, these you can drill in and you can open up to more information sheets. You'll see the familiar UI that I've used today and how all of these things, and I go into those details, right? So much of those questions can probably be answered right within the FAQ of the app itself. And again, if they're not there, please submit those into the suggestion box. Tim, we did it.
Somehow we managed to do it with 6 minutes to spare. So listen, get into Navigo, fill out the
request. I do see your hand up there. Sorry.
Yeah, I had a question. Is there possibility maybe down the road to automate prospects and send out emails or text or whatever saying, I haven't heard from you for a while. What do you think? Or shall we set up a meeting time or something of that nature?
It's interesting you mentioned that. I do have a framework for an outreach type of solution where you could send out bulk SMS or emails. Again, reminders, missing you, all that kind of thing. So yes, and again, any of those ideas, again, submit them for us so we have it documented. And again, we'll probably take a temperature of those, right? So if there's a lot of requests for the same thing, it might prioritize the rollout and development of that feature. So yes, love to hear all of that, how this can help you minimize your administration on a daily basis and maximize your effectiveness.
Okay. And then also I used to with the previous companies I've been with, they used to have links to various data websites like Sales Intel or Seamless AI, where it actually fetches from, hundreds of thousands of different either social media or websites or whatever to get owners' information, see what kind of sales volume they do, email information, and so forth and so on. Do we have anything like that?
No, I'll jump in, John, because this will go down a different vein. Like we said, this is going to turn in. We don't know exactly what it's going to turn into. This is the very beginning of this. Crawl, walk, run. You've heard Justin say it a lot of times. Same thing with this app. All these are great ideas. Throw them in the box. Let's hear it. Let's feed the beast of the direction we're going. But not saying no, but that would be pretty far down the roadmap for us.
All right, thank you.
Yep. All right, we're almost out of time. Does anybody have anything else?
Brad asked, will or can our current accounts be auto added, or do agents need to
Yeah.
manually add them in?
Yeah, I answered that in the chat. Tom had asked the question. Now that's something you'll need to do.
Gotcha. And then Crystal wanted to confirm, do agent phone numbers get used for two-factor authentication?
Not phone numbers. The email that's you're registered to is where that pin gets sent.
Sweet, thank you.
And again, this is just the beginning. This
Pretty
is the
sick. Thanks.
foundation. Say it again, Chad.
Thanks. This is. I remember seeing you gave me a tease and
Wassa.
yeah. So this is nuts. Thanks.
Well, again, this is the foundation. You all build the house that you want on top of it. And to me, it's really exciting to be able to deliver this on a phone where you don't have to find a Starbucks and get a Wi-Fi and open up your laptop and get distracted from the goal, right? This is meant to deliver all of this right into the palm of your hand or into your tablet when you need it, where you need it. And that's what makes this so exciting for me.
John, if this is the way you think when you eat pizza, I'll buy your next pizza for you.
Okay. Next time I'm in Texas.
All right.
Okay. Anybody else going once? Going twice?
Thank you very much. I'm really going to enjoy this as well as the rest of us.
Well, I can't wait for feedback from you and Marty and the whole clan, and again, figure out how we can make this even better.
I know it will decrease my phone calls to them, to Genie, to Rob. Yeah. Job security might be a problem now.
No, you know what? That's actually a great, Mary, that's a great point. We hope that this will do exactly that, and that our sales and support teams can spend more time on the people who really need it, not just answering the regular questions. So I think this should actually improve, what you need when you need it, because it frees up some of the busy work.
Yes, to let them get on to what they really need to do. Now
get the bigger fish into the boat.
There you go.
Thank you so much.
All right. I think that's it, John. Great job, brother.
All right. Can't wait to hear from y'all. With that, I'll remind you again, Genie January, Biller Genie comes on the 27th. Also Toolbox Tuesday, 1 p.m. Eastern. Coffee with Closers next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. And I hope you guys learn to fly this thing. That was the whole meaning of the song at the beginning. With that, have a great day.